Welcome to this How to Change Career in 2022 Masterclass. I am delighted to see you here, and you are absolutely in the right place if what you do no longer excites you, no longer interests you, no longer fulfills you, whether you've lost the passion for it or doesn't deliver the lifestyle that you want. If you've been thinking about changing career, but you don't know what you would do or how to go about it, if you feel stuck and you're going round in circles, you are in the right place. My promise to you is that in this next hour, I will share with you the foundations of a successful career change. I will give you the exact formula I use with my one-to-one clients. I will talk briefly at the end about how we could work together on that basis if you want, but my intention is to give you as much value in this free 60 minutes as you need to take real action in the future. In return, I ask of you, first of all, to suspend the disbelief that this might not work for you. Let yourself really accept that a fulfilling, exciting career exists out there for you. Commit to turning that belief into a reality. Commit to take action from this. And importantly, don't just treat this as another training that you can forget as soon as you leave. We have all done that, right? Some tips for watching this masterclass. Please give it your full attention. Don't check your emails, your text messages, Instagram. Put away your phone, shut off your email, give yourself the gift of presence. We all think we are brilliant at multitasking. We all think we can watch one of these and check our emails or scroll through Instagram. And before we know it, we've missed something. There are some nuggets of gold in this. I have condensed all of the stuff that really makes the difference, that really makes from potential career change to successful career change into this hour. There is a lot in here. If you are doing other stuff, you can eat a sandwich or slurp on some soup or, juggle your toddler, whatever. But if you are looking at other stuff, you will miss the nuggets that will really make the difference for you. So please do try and give it your full attention. During this masterclass, I'm going to cover the wrong place to start a career change. I really do think there is a hard way to do a career change and there is a much easier way. I'm going to talk about what that hard way is, the wrong place almost all of us start. I'm going to talk about the 3 steps I use with my one-to-one clients to help them to create really fulfilling careers. And so many of you in the group, in emails to me and conversations we've had have told me that you really do not know where to start. You know you need to change career, you want to change career, something has to change, but you don't know what to, and that is keeping you stuck. And these 3 steps are what helps people really work out that question. And I'm going to talk about the 2 barriers that will hold you back and make you massively undershoot your potential if they are not tackled earlier on. And if you've been in the group, you will have seen me talk about prizes. I like to make this fun. This is an hour of your time. I am incredibly grateful for you giving up that time, and I want to make this fun with lots of value, but also with some prizes. So stay to the end. There will be a prize draw. All you have to do to be into that prize draw is to be here and then to have commented during the masterclass. So in order for us to be able to see that you've commented, you need to have clicked that Facebook, that StreamYard link above here. If you've commented and we can't see your name, we cannot put you into the prize draw. There are some great prizes. The vote was really close between the White Company and Joe Malone. So I'm going to do both of those vouchers for both Joe Malone and the White Company. It was much clearer. You all love Selfridges. There'll be a Selfridges voucher. There's some. There's a voucher to work with me. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's going to be prizes. Stay to the end. If you are here, we will draw that then. So my question for you is, are you in washing machine mode? What do I mean by that? So often, and I was there myself, so often when we want a career change, what happens is we have so many different options in our head. We look at different jobs. We look at, could I go part-time? Could I give up work altogether? Could I move house? And all of this stuff starts going round and round and round and round. And we get onto what I call washing machine mode spin cycle. So we're spinning round and round and round, and none of those options feel right. None of them feel like the right option. And so we just keep adding in more and more options. And we're looking at lots of different things, and that will keep you stuck. It kept me stuck for a long, long time. I was looking at all sorts of different things to do. They all kind of ticked one or two boxes, but not all of the boxes, and therefore they just weren't right, and I couldn't move into action. So my question for you is, who does, let me ask you a question first. Does that resonate with you? Who feels like they're stuck in the spin cycle at the moment? Who feels like they've been going round and round and round? Let's give me a yes in the Natalie. Yeah, just going through the motions. Yeah, it's paralyzing. Yes, totally. What was that comment about? Yeah, spinning right round like a record, baby. Like that your shirt matches the lampshade. It's not intentional. But I do like a bit of pink. There are quite a lot of pink clothes in my wardrobe. So yeah, but it's not intentional. So yeah, a lot of you stuck in that spin cycle. So my question for you is, are you ready to stop the spin cycle? Are you ready to take decisions, move out into action? Let me tell you a little bit about myself, because if you are in the right place. My name is Josh. I'm a dad, a husband. My husband and I have two girls, 9 and 5-year-old girls, who are everything you want young women to be out in the world. You know, full of verve and energy and challenge and everything that makes it really difficult at home. We want them to be, full of power out in the world and absolutely compliant at home. And it doesn't really work like that. So they keep us on our toes. I'm a coach and I'm a business owner. Your Best Life is my business, and I am a midlife mastery coach. I help people manage in midlife when they've hit that wall of, this isn't how life was meant to be. Something is meant to be different, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to go about getting it. That's what I do. And to tell you a little bit about my story, for 20 years, I was lucky enough to really work my passion. I worked in politics for 20 years. Politics was my passion. I grew up in quite a political family. I did politics at university. When I graduated, I immediately started working for MPs. When I was 29, I got elected as a local councillor. I also had a corporate job working in a communications consultancy and government relations. So politics was really I lived and breathed it. I absolutely adored it. But over time, it became really toxic. Not only the toxicity of politics, the constant competitiveness, but also it was a 24-hour, being a counsellor was a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job. And when we had our kids, it just didn't work for me anymore. I just didn't want to be working that long, working that hard. It was lovely to have an impact that I really valued, but I wanted my impact to also be able to be at home, and I really wasn't able to be. And also, politics had been my passion since I was young. I had changed. Politics hadn't changed. There were lots of different things to happen, but I had changed, and my priorities after we had our kids were not the same anymore. And that gradual feeling of parting ways with my passion, of not being in the right place in my career, was really tough. It was making me feel panicked. I felt like my life was slipping away. I could see doing the same thing for 20 years, so I didn't know what else to do. That, even talking about it now, I can feel my kind of chest tightening up, my breath getting short. It was a sense of panic. It was a sense of distress. I felt like I had made some really bad choices in my life. They'd been great choices at the time, but now at this point, I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know where to do. And I was really, really stuck. I was stuck in that spin cycle. I was stuck in a job that no longer worked for me. And that was impacting on my home life. It was impacting on how I showed up as a parent, on how I showed up as a husband, as how I showed up at work. I was not being the person I wanted to be. I really was not living my best life, but I didn't know what to do. And then I had a moment. I was on a plane flying home from a family holiday. My husband and kids were sleeping next to me, and I was trying to get myself back onto UK time. So I was trying to watch a film, and there wasn't really anything I wanted to watch. And I ended up watching the Amy Winehouse documentary, Amy. And I don't know if you've seen it, but it opens with this kind of home footage of her just mucking around at home as a kind of a young teen. Really kind of beautiful, kind of innocent footage of her. And then it tells the story about how her dad started a long affair in those years. And so he was out every single night through her teenage years, and how her response to that was to say, well, if you're not around for me, I'm going to go out and do what I like. And so started the alcoholism and the eating disorders and kind of emotional damage that eventually killed her. And just there on that plane, watching that film, I realized that I wasn't making this life work for me. I wasn't making it work for me as a parent. I wasn't making it work for me for my kids. I wasn't making it work in a whole lot of ways. And I knew that, didn't think my life was going to end up like that, but I knew that I wasn't making it work and something had to change. I didn't know what I was going to do and I didn't know how, but I knew something had to change. And my life today kind of flows from that moment there of making a decision. Today, my life is very different. I do a job I absolutely love. I have an impact on the world that I'm incredibly proud of, working one-to-one with people to help them change their lives. I have the best work-life balance ever, have proper quality time with my kids, with my husband, with my friends, importantly on my own. I'm quite an introvert, actually, and I do need time on my own. And I just had none of that before. Like, meeting other needs was all I did. And I'm earning more than I ever have. And after 2 years of lockdown, of life being on hold, but also that really visceral reminder that life is really short, I see around me a lot of people who feel done with just getting by, with life feeling like a grind, with waiting for something to change. Who here, how many of you feel done with that? Feel done by just kind of turning it in, by just getting by just going through the motions? Who is done with waiting? It's a little bit of a delay before the comments come through. Shireen, totally done. Me, done. I am so done, says Chris. Very much so, says Melissa. Yep, done waiting. Limbo sucks. It certainly does, Sarah. Limbo certainly sucks. And yet that's how we feel. Like, when you don't know how to move forward, we get stuck in limbo. Hannah, so done with it. I'm done with waiting. This is now my time. This is your time. That is my message to you. This is your time. It's literally the next thing I was going to say. This is your time. Your time to claim work, to claim a career that's meaningful, that's aligned with your values, that's worthwhile, that's energizing, that's fun, that allows you to really live your purpose in this world. To get balanced, to get time with your family, with friends, to have flexibility to respond to what goes on, to have improved well-being and health, mental and physical, to have financial stability, to have the space, the energy, the ease, and to reconnect with you. I certainly felt totally disconnected with who I was. I didn't know who I was anymore. And this is about reconnecting with you. And this is really not an exclusive club. I am not some magical unicorn who's managed to achieve kind of extraordinary things that no one else can. You get to claim this too. And I'm going to tell you today about the foundations of doing that. Lots and lots of you still, if you could just click that Facebook, that StreamYard link, which should be directly above here, just so I can see your names. It would be great to be able to see you. Uncertainty is brutal. It certainly is. It certainly is. It feels desperately unpleasant. So I'm going to start by talking to you about the mistake that people make. The mistake that people make in career changes that really does keep people stuck. And I want to tell you this so you can avoid it at all costs. Now, I I made this mistake. I made this mistake big time. And my betting is that a whole bunch of you are making this as well. And that mistake is focusing on the job. When you want a career change, the biggest mistake is to spend all your time thinking about what you could do instead, which is a really weird thing to say, right? How many of you are scratching your head now? What's he talking about? Let me tell you. Searching job sites, writing pros and cons lists, checking salaries, looking up courses, comparing your CV. How many of you are doing that now? How many of you are approaching this problem in the way that we've taught to solve problems, by research, searching job sites, looking on monster.com, writing up those lists, checking salaries, checking out training, seeing if we can afford the training? How many of you are doing any of that? It's what I did. I signed up for all sorts of job websites. I would get lists of jobs and I'd think, oh, I don't really want to do that, but maybe I could. Maybe my skills kind of work with that. Nevdeep says, I haven't even got that far yet. It's fine. Yep. Too overwhelming, so it's in the difficult pile. Yep. I'm all about the training, says Emma. Yep. On repeat. Yeah, absolutely. Like this, you could do this forever because this is not the way that you move forward. Because it's in the mindset of, if I can just work out what job would make me happy, it'll all fall into place. Everything else will fall into place if I can just work out the job that would make me happy. Perfectly rational, but not the way to do it. Because here's the thing. A career change is not about a job. I'm going to say that again because it is incredibly important. If you take nothing else from this, I want you to take lots out from this. If you take nothing else but this is the thing. A career change is not about a job. It's about aligning your life with who you are. It's about aligning what you do with who you are. We change. We change over the lifetime that we live. And most of us start our career some point in our teens or our 20s. And over the next 20 years, we go through real periods of really big life changes. So our 20s generally tend to be about having some fun, about starting to get settled, about starting to kind of get going in our careers. Our 30s are about really settling down. We maybe meet our partner, we maybe buy a flat or a house, we have our kids. And then in our 40s, we hit this wall, boom, where we've maybe come back from having our kids. We're doing that triangle the whole time of work and school and home, and work and school and home. We're juggling a million things. I spoke to someone the other day who said, I feel like I just pick up pants off the floor after my kids the whole time. And it's exhausting. And over that 20 years, we've changed, but our job, broadly, the career we do, has stayed the same. How many of you does that sound familiar to? Who recognizes that journey of you being a different person, but your job really having stayed the same? Julian says yes. Yep. Federica can totally relate to that. So my first bit of advice is stop thinking about jobs. If you want to change career successfully, park that thing. And I will tell you what to do instead. So let's talk about the 3 foundations of any successful career change, because this is what you do instead of Googling jobs. And Cherry, sometimes we have lots of different jobs as well, and we still change. So we never get the chance to attach to any one of them. Desmond, 19 years in a job you didn't enjoy. That is a long time in a job you don't enjoy. Helen says, I don't want to run the gauntlet anymore. I need freedom. Yes, this is all about freedom. Gillian says, trying to convince myself it's changed in 20 years, but it really hasn't. Like the things that we do on a day-to-day basis might change, but the fundamentals of our careers, if we stay in those over the long term, really don't. So what are the 3 foundations of any successful career change? They are soul, they are superpowers, they are structure. And I'm going to explain what I mean by those. Foundation number 1 is soul. It's aligning our work and our soul. At the heart of all of us is a nucleus of values, of beliefs, of passions, our identity, essentially. And when we're doing work that isn't aligned to this core of our identity, that can leave us feeling unfulfilled, empty, without direction, without purpose. So when our values, our passions, our vision, our beliefs, our purpose is here, and the work that we do is here, that feeling you get in your chest, that uncomfortable feeling of, this isn't the right life for me, this isn't what I should be doing, that's the dissonance in the middle between your values, your passion, your vision, your beliefs, your purpose, your identity here, and your work here. This gap, that's what you're feeling. This dissonance between is that feeling of, I'm not in the right place. And so what we need to do is bring that identity and that work into alignment. And a career change, as I said, is about aligning who we are with what we do. Now, of course, the challenge with that is that we often don't know at this stage in our life who we are, but passion is the energy that comes from bringing more of you into what you do. Often people say to me, I want to feel more passionate about work, but I don't actually know what I'm passionate about anymore. I've lost track of what I'm passionate about. I'm so exhausted. I'm so run down. I'm so burnt out. I don't know what I'm passionate about. Don't look for passion in stuff externally. Look for passion in who you are. Now, I was talking to someone the other day, chatting to her on email, and she came back to me. She said, I feel totally lost. I don't know who I am anymore. I want to feel passionate about what I do, but I'm not even sure what that feels like. How many of you are in that position? I certainly was. When I wanted my career change, I read blog after blog after blog, which said, work out your passion and do that. And that was fine if you knew what your passion was. But my passion had been politics and no longer was, and I didn't know what my passion was anymore. If you don't know what your passion is, and most of us, when we get to this point in our lives, are not only rather exhausted, but also the things that used to really kind of give us a spark don't anymore. Marina says, these last 2 years have made me numb. Just getting by. So often when we're in this situation, we just get by. We just drag ourselves out of bed. We go through life. Karine, exhaustion has fogged up my passion for sure. That's me 100%. I've lost my passions. Lots of curiosities, but a core passion or two, no. So to be powerfully connected with who you are and how you want to live your life is how you align what you do with what you want to have in your life, with who you are. So the first foundation is finding you. You find your passion in who you are. Stop Googling jobs. Start really turning in on yourself and working out who you are at this point in your life and what you want from life. What are your values? What's your purpose? What matters to you? What do you want your impact to be? What do you want your legacy to be? This is the stuff where the real gold lies, in feeling connected, feeling aligned to what you do. You have to get really clear on your identity first, because that feeling of not loving your work anymore comes from not knowing who you are. So foundation number one, get back in touch with you. Foundation number two is about owning your superpowers. And let me explain what I mean by superpowers. Each of us has a special talent, something that seems so effortless that it's almost inconsequential. It feels like it's not really a thing. But because we're so good at it and we do it so naturally, it delivers huge value to others. Often, we don't recognize those superpowers because they come so easily to us, we don't think they're special. And people kind of compliment us on them when we think that's not a thing. We have this weird bias. Unless we have learned something, unless we've been trained in it, unless we've worked hard at it, we don't really rate it. The things that we're born with naturally, the skills that we have developed without trying, we underrate. And yet, those things that we take for granted because we think everyone has them too, those are our superpowers. And because we take them for granted, we tend to underuse them in our careers. We tend to maybe make our careers 5% of that and 95% of the stuff that we really have to try hard at. Now, actually, there's a great quote by a guy called Cal Newport who says, if you want to love what you do, abandon the passion mindset, what can the world offer me? And instead adopt the craftsman mindset, what can I offer the world? And the thing you can offer the world is your superpowers. And he goes on to say that basic economic theory tells us that if we want something that's both rare and valuable, and the rare and valuable thing we want is not to have to work really long hours, but to be paid really well, to have our purpose, to be able to live our purpose, to be able to do a work that feels fulfilling and purposeful, to get paid loads for it, and not to have to work round the clock. And he says, if you want that rare and valuable thing, then you need to offer something rare and valuable in return. And that is your superpower. Now, whenever I say this to a room full of people and get you to put your hands up, almost everyone says that they don't have a superpower. Put your hand up if you don't, if when I talked about superpowers, you thought, yeah, that sounds nice, but I'm pretty sure I don't have one, or at least I don't know what it is. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay. Tell me, who feels like, yeah, I'm not actually sure I have a superpower. I'm certainly not sure what it is. No idea what it is. Enough deep. Cherry Nelson, me. Laura, not clear. I don't know what it is. Definitely not sure what it is. Now, if we don't know what the thing that we do so well is, that we should build our whole career around it, like 80% of what we do should be this thing that we do so well, then not only when we do it, do we change the world, do we deliver incredible value, but we do it without draining ourselves, and we do it in less time than we would have to otherwise. If we don't know that thing, how do we build our career around it? How do we enable the creation of careers that really are based on what we do exceptionally well? So step number 2 is find your superpower and build your career relentlessly around it. Step number 3 is around structure, and that's about structuring your work to suit you. Most jobs have a broad 8-hour, 5-day a week kind of structure. Now, we might play around with that. We might get a 4-hour day. We might get a 4-day week. We might have a compressed hours, but basically 8 hours of work, 8 hours of being awake, and 8 hours of sleep is the basic structure of work in the Western world. Now, there is nothing in any research you can find anywhere that says that is how humans should work. In fact, decades and decades and decades of science and a whole host of historical luminaries and experts have all come to one single conclusion, that if your work involves your brain, then the right working day is just 4 hours long. 4 hours. If you're a concert pianist or a violinist or even an athlete or someone at the absolute top of their game, then you will see consistently across all of them, they train for 4 hours, normally in 2-hour blocks. 2 hours, do something relaxing, train for another 2 hours. Even hunter-gatherers, they think, will do a maximum 4 hours of hunting and gathering. And yet that 8 hours that we work, that was in the Industrial Revolution, when factory owners wanted us to work every kind of daylight hour and more. That 8 hours was a hard-won compromise between trade unions on one side and kind of bosses on the other. The way we work is some weird compromise based on what's best for business against in a negotiation, rather than what suits us. So when we're talking about how to structure our work to really suit you, then it's worth starting with a blank sheet of what does balance actually look like? What does balance really look like to you? What time do you want to get up? How much time do you want to have your kids to get them sorted in the morning? What do you want to do once you've finally got that moment of rest once they're at school? How many hours do you want to work? What do you want to do in the evenings? How much free time do you want to have? We structure our working lives around an 8-hour day, a 5-day week, and then we wonder why we're exhausted. And if you're a working parent and you do a 4-day week or compressed hours, then often what you're actually doing, you're doing 5 days work in 4 days. So you're doing the same amount of work in less time for less money. And we wonder why we're exhausted. Yeah. Helen. No wonder I got burnt out with doing brain work 8 to 10 hours whilst homeschooling a toddler. It's not how we're meant to work. Our brains are set up for 4 hours of deep work every day, 4 hours of creativity, 4 hours of real learning. The rest, it's wasted time. It's draining us all the time. So structure your working life around what really works for you. Like, get clear on, in an ideal world, what works for you, and then structure your life, your working life around that. So soul, superpowers, and structure. These 3 things are the essence of designing a career that really works for you. And of answering that question, what should I do next? Now, there are 2 things. Melissa, I'm really productive in the morning, but I struggle in the afternoon. You've done your 4 hours. You've done your 4 hours. How many of us have that, where there's parts of the day where we just can barely do anything? We're kind of moving email around or watching cat videos, maybe. Like, it really doesn't work out like that, Claire. Full-time job and part-time hours. It's the myth of flexible working. Actually leaves you worse off most of the time. So, is this making sense to people? Is this making sense about why things are a struggle? Is this making sense about why you're stuck in that spin cycle? slow today. There's a lot of you on, so it's slow. Absolutely. Good, Jackie. Thanks, Hannah. Hannah, so helpful. Good. I did a full-time job in part-time hours. It's a scam. It's a scam. Yeah, we're going to pay for 4 days. We're going to give you as much work as you had in 5 days. Actually, you're going to have to be so efficient and so well organized to get that amount done that you're going to get a reputation for being really good at what you do. And we're going to give you extra work and extra responsibilities. Who knows that one? Huh? That's how it works out, right? Until you are juggling so many balls, you are absolutely exhausted and you're at breaking point. Absolutely at breaking point. If you've got questions, stick them in the comments. Nadine is going to keep a note of them, and then we'll come back. There'll be a time for question at the end. What do I think about the 4-day working week trial that 30 companies are doing? I think it's fantastic. I think it genuinely people's jobs are able to be done in 4 days. Now, I've then seen some stuff recent today, actually, which says it's about doing 5 days worth of hours in 4 days. And that's no good. If you're just doing the same amount of hours in fewer days, that's no good. That doesn't work. Yeah, I'll do 10 hours in a day or 9 hours in a day. So when I get home to see my kids in the evening, I'm even more exhausted and even less able to connect. That doesn't work. Fundamentally doesn't work for me. So let's talk about barriers. Barrier number one, which will which will hold you back from really achieving your potential, is undervaluing yourself. We all have, this is a money mindset. We have messages dripped into our ears from birth that we should play small and hold back, that money and success are corrupting, that we can't have money and success without trading in health and well-being. There's a great quote from a woman called Anne Fells from Harvard, who says, "For men, ambition is considered a necessary and desirable part of life. We're taught as men that we should be ambitious." But she goes on to say, "Most women, however, associate ambition with egotism, self-aggrandizement, or manipulation." And when I talk to people about money, and my stance on a career change is you should be aiming to do purposeful, fulfilling work that aligns with you, but you should also be aiming to earn as much money as you want, as you can. And when I say that, people recoil a bit. They get to feel a bit uncomfortable. Who's feeling uncomfortable now with that idea that you should be looking to really just have no limit on how much money that you should earn? It triggers feelings of greed, of being egotistical, of being selfish, grabby, a bit tacky, manipulative, pushy, a show off. Lots and lots of negative stuff coming up. And Natalie, it doesn't seem possible. We imagine that will mean we're losing time with my family, having to work all hours, it being exhausting, being always on call, draining responsibility, being stressful, not the lifestyle that we want. Here's another really important thing. There is no intrinsic link between how many hours you work and how successful or well paid you are. We imagine there's some formula that work in equals money out. Actually, I can think of a lot of people who work incredibly long and incredibly hard and get paid almost nothing. Get on a night bus at 5 a.m. in London and see women who've left their kids at home to go and clean offices, traveling between jobs at 5 a.m. There is no intrinsic link between how hard we work, how many hours we work, and how successful or well paid we are. Being able to break that link and understand that actually there are ways of working where you can produce incredible value in less time that make us paid really well. What if our passions don't pay? I'm not convinced that there aren't ways for all of our passions to pay. There might be some passions that are better off as a hobby because they're not what we want to do full time. But in the world we live in, there are ways to bring incredible value from what we're passionate about. Alexis says, "Makes me worry. I will have to do things outside of my comfort zone if I'm aiming for the big paycheck." Well, there's certainly nothing wrong with up leveling, about challenging ourselves to be bigger, about challenging ourselves for our impact to be bigger. But it doesn't mean pushing yourself beyond what is acceptable, what's the kind of life that we want to lead. I found that the more money I've earned, the more responsibility I had, the more stress I work in the public sector. Yes, Sarah, that in the public sector, that is almost certainly the case. And in some jobs, that's certainly the case, that kind of stress-money relationship. It is not the case in everything that we do, and it doesn't have to be the case. The thing is, when we do work of incredible value and impact, we should be paid incredibly well for it. And why wouldn't we want that? Why wouldn't we want to be paid incredibly well for work that does incredible value and impact? That enables us to have great childcare, enables us to have some help at home, that enables us to help out friends and family if they need it, to support great causes, to shop in businesses whose values we agree with, to enjoy incredible experiences. Why wouldn't we want that? Why wouldn't we want a real love affair with money, where money doesn't make us a good person, doesn't make us better than other people, but just enables us to do things? So barrier number one is undervaluing yourself. And so I'm really clear that getting really comfortable with your exceptional worth is an absolute prerequisite for really nailing a career change. Barrier number two is anything less than really radical self-esteem. And so many of the people I work with have had really quite successful careers for 20 years, but the sense of losing track of their identity, often toxic work environments, often exhaustion and burnout, often having come back from having their kids and find that they've been sidelined, passed over, marginalized, often a feeling of being overtaken that has really impacted their self-confidence. And lots of you told me in the group and in messages this week that confidence is a real issue. Put your hand up if confidence is one of your struggles with work and career change now, because I hear it all the time. I hear it all the time that people want to change, but their confidence is at such a low because of the situation they're in that they're unable to get out of that situation. Natalie, thank you for sharing. Hands up. It's always been for me. Here's the thing. There are 7.9 billion people on the planet. Some of them are going to love you. Some of them are going to hate you. Some of them are going to think you're fantastic. Some of them are going to think you're awful. Some of them are going to think you're the most talented person around. Some of them are going to think you have no value. The thing we miss is that that is in them and not us. We imagine that their judgments of us are based on us. Their judgments of us are based on what's in their head. Their value judgment is based on their brains. 7.5 billion people in the world. Some are going to love you, some are going to hate you. Your job is not to chase after the ones that hate you. Your job is to find the ones that love you and to spend more time with them. And that is as true in career as it is in the rest of our life. And I always like to give the analogy of pineapple. I hate pineapple. It's spiny and acidic and just disgusting. My husband and our kids love pineapple. But me hating a pineapple and them loving a pineapple does not change that pineapple one little bit. It is still exactly the same. It still weighs the same. It still tastes the same. It still feels the same. It's still as spiny and spiky and horrible, whether I hate it or whether they love it. And yet we imagine that other people's views of us change us. They don't. We're still exactly the same person, whether someone loves us or hates us. This radical self-acceptance of saying, you'll like me when you're ready, and that might never be ever. That might be never. That might be never. And that's okay, because I like me. Like, that is the position of like radical self-acceptance, accepting nothing less than radical self-esteem, understanding that whether or not someone likes you, that is their business. And I have no business in their business. Some of you who've been on my Instagram account will have seen me dancing on Instagram. I tell you, some people hate that. Some people think it's ridiculous. Someone once said to me, how old are you? I said, I'm 45. He said, stop dancing on Instagram. No, I have fun. Other people's view of me doesn't make a difference to me, doesn't change me. I'm still the exact same pineapple. This radical self-acceptance, this ability to learn to love ourselves. Hannah, you're dead to me. I don't like pineapple. I'm joking. Hannah said she loves pineapple. Could be a peach, could be whatever. Keep on dancing, Caroline. I'm never going to stop dancing, Caroline. I used to have great fun going out to nightclubs. I've now got young kids. I don't go out to nightclubs, so I dance on Instagram. You don't like it? Fine. Watch something else. Radical self-esteem, radical self-acceptance has to be the basis of any career change. You have to be able to go out there and say, actually, I know that I'm a great deal. I know that I bring value. You might not like that. I might remind you of your ex-girlfriend. I might remind you of your, horrible uncle. You might have had a bad night's sleep. You might be going through a divorce, whatever. You might pile all of that onto me. Corinna, it is well spotted. It is a picture of a pineapple. Whatever you're thinking of me is based on what's in your head and not on me. Like being able to let go of that and to go into whatever you do in life, knowing that what other people think of you, they're going to think of you. 7.5 billion people in the world. Some are going to love you, some are going to hate you. That's okay. Accept nothing less than radical self-esteem. So those are my 5 basics of a successful career and a successful career change. Soul, knowing who you are and aligning who you are with what you do. Superpower, knowing the thing that you do so well that you can build your career around it so you can create incredible value absolutely effortlessly. Structure, knowing what real balance looks like for you and not for some corporation. Stars, really being able to shoot for the stars in terms of money and success, knowing that money is not going to make you a good person, but hell, it's nice to have. And self, really being clear that you're exactly as you should be, and that's fine. And if no one else likes that, that's absolutely their lookout. If you take one thing away from today, it's that the journey to a successful career and a successful career change starts in your head. All of those barriers out there that are, some of them are real, some of them are imagined, but the biggest barrier is what we believe we can do. Soul, superpower, structure, stars, and self. So the big question is, how can you apply this to your career to create that empowered life of real balance? Now, the thing I know is that about 10%, slightly less than 10% of people leave any kind of training like this and go away and implement any of it. 10%, 1 in 10. Even when you pay for something, 1 in 10 go out. So my challenge today is, how can I take that 10% and make it 60, 70, 80%? And my answer in part is how I work with people one-to-one and in my career change group. I have a group called Transform. I have a program called Transform that takes all of these and puts it into a program that works you through the stages so that it answers all of those questions in turn. It's a 4-month group coaching experience that helps you find your purpose and really create that dream career. It's based on that 5-stage framework: the soul connection, the strengths connection, the system reset, the self-love reset, and the aspiration expansion. And there are 3 parts to it, 3 modules, 3 really life-changing modules. Module 1 is about refinding you, connecting with your soul, your impact, your purpose, your values, who you are in this part of your life and what you want life to be about. It's all about meaning. And when you do this, it enables you to go to bed at night, go to sleep, knowing what life is about, knowing that you're good in your own skin and you don't need to worry anymore, that you are reconnected with who you are, that you're clear on your identity. Module 2 is about the essential elements of a dream career, all the things that come together: your superpowers, your key skills, your motivators, your experience, the kind of organization you need to work with, that help you together magically form the absolutely dream career that answers that question: what am I going to do next in my career? It's the point when I'm working with people where it all drops into place and their shoulders drop and they breathe out and they can finally start to believe that they're going to have that career. The energy then of knowing, and I've just done it with someone this week, and she said to me, the clarity is just extraordinary. Module 3 is about springing into action, the step-by-step route map to bridge, step-by-step route map. It's a mouthful, to bridge from where you are now to where you need to get to. Simple, straightforward, actionable. To take all of this, to turn it into a plan, to take it from probable to possible for me to absolutely inevitable of making it happen. It's when you really know it's going to happen to you. 3 modules, supported by expert coaching with me, live group coaching every fortnight, a one-to-one with me once a month, mindset work on self-confidence, on money mindset, on success, on anything you're getting stuck with, all the way through the program. It's in a private Facebook group, so real community. This can be a lonely process when you're feeling stuck. The strength of this community is absolutely exceptional. You get support, but you also get to learn really powerfully from seeing what other people are doing and what they're going through. It's a beautiful process. You get to ask questions, you get help when stuck, and you get lots of me kind of helping you through there. Some bonuses. The thing I'm adding in this time is an independent strengths assessment and a one-to-one debrief with our strengths coach, Sarah. You normally only get this in my one-to-one, but that piece around superpowers is so important that I want you to have this extra work with Sarah. Everyone goes into this not knowing what their superpowers are and then comes out being really, really clear on what they are and how to make them work. And this is a lovely one, a 90-minute Relight Your Spark workshop, which is all about getting your spark back, getting back. I was going to call it Relight My Fire. I wasn't sure I couldn't start singing if I did that. Relight Your Spark workshop. It's about joy and fun back in your life and about really living into the endless possibility and potential of your life. And that will be within month one. You also get access to a 90-minute self-confidence and radical self-acceptance workshop training. It's a 4-month program because the intention is you do the modules in month 1, and that you then get support to start making it happen months 2, 3, and 4. It's self-paced, so you can do it longer, and people have. Sometimes people do it shorter, but it's there to give you the support you need. A career change is not an overnight thing. You need, what I've learned over time is you really need support to make it happen. Now, if you work with me on a one-to-one basis, this is £5,000 worth of coaching over 3 months, the one-to-one. But I want to make it really accessible to people. So the group version is 1-1-1-1 for 4 months. Lots and lots and lots of extra support, and you get an extra month's support to help you do it. The modules themselves are worth £1,500. The coaching, if you were buying this coaching one-to-one with me, it'd be £2,500. The strength assessment's £400. The workshops are £300. It's about, it's 4,579 worth of value for 1-1-1-1. And it starts, the next intake starts next Thursday, a week today. The sign-up closes on Monday. Once it's gone, it's gone. The next time we'll open will be in March. By then, I think we'll be at a size where I probably can't do as much one-to-one. Some of the one-to-one coaching may well be with other coaches. This intake, next Thursday, all of the one-to-one is with me. You get a very substantial amount of training, of coaching. It's 12 or 13 hours from memory. I want to tell you about a couple of people who've done it. I worked with Trish, and when Trish started with me, she could barely even imagine that she was someone who should do coaching. She felt so kind of ground down. And she wrote to me the other day to say, I got it. I got the job that she wanted, a big career change, a big shift for her. And she wrote me, which said, taking the step to work with you has been one of the best and most empowering decisions I've made in my adult life. It's been a journey of pure self-discovery. Rachel, who when I started coaching her, could not get through our time without crying. She felt so ground down. She felt like everything had been totally snuffed out. And she now says, there's a fire inside me that I've been put out. Instead of living in the past, I now appreciate how everything I've achieved can be harnessed in new directions. Aparajita, who is one of the current members of Transform, who's just had that wonderful realization of what it is she wants to do with the rest of her career, says, I'm so excited to discover what I want from the next stage of my career. I feel so grounded and confident. The clarity I found is amazing. This is a program that I've worked incredibly hard to put together because I know how much need there is out there. Over 400 people signed up for this. It is not easy to make a career change. I wouldn't do it on my own if I had the chance. This is the modules, the golden thread of coaching all the way through, the strengths assessment, the Relight Your Spark, the self-confidence, the community is designed to make this easy. Nadine is going to be posting the link to have a look at this in the comments. Please do click through and have a look. I would love to work with you. I have enjoyed so much chatting to many of you in the group over the past couple of days. I would love to help you make this career change reality. Please do take a look. If you have questions, right at the bottom of that page, there is a link to book in with me over the next couple of days. There are a limited number of those. Once they're gone, they're gone. As I say, you have until 9:30 on Monday to sign up. So prizes. I said there would be prizes. So, Nadine, let me know. Okay, so the first prize, which is a voucher for the White Company, is Helen Fox. Congratulations, Helen. The second prize, which is a coaching session with me, is Bruna Louise. Congratulations, Bruna. The third prize, actually, they're not in any order. They're not like first thing. The next prize, which is the Joe Malone voucher, is Gillian Brunton. The next prize, which is a £100 off voucher, is Hannah Sequira. Congratulations, Hannah. The next prize, which is a free place at the Relight Your Spark workshop, is Marco Stolk. And in fact, I haven't done a Selfridges voucher. So Nadine, give me another name and we will pick another name at random. We will do the Selfridges voucher. I have 2 minutes. What questions do people have? Hit me up with your questions about Transform. You're very welcome, Hannah. Emma Churchill, you have won the Selfridges voucher. Congratulations to all of you. Nadine will be emailing you with the details. Any questions? Gillian, you're very, very, very welcome. Any questions about the about Transform? It's called the Transform Career Change Accelerator. I should say that. The whole idea is getting you career change ready. By the end of that month one, you are career change ready. You know who you are. You know what that means about what you want to do next. You know the job you're going out for, and you have a plan to go out and get it. And then months 2, 3, and 4 are about supporting you to do that. You can take longer than that first month if you want. You can time it as you want, but it's all about getting you career change ready and into action. Okay, if there are no questions, I am going to close there. Thank you so much for your time. I have loved. We do have a question. What is the time commitment for the course? Julie's asked. Julie, it is so the modules are self-paced. They're done by videos. The videos of me that you do in your own time. Anything from, so if you want to do it in a month, it's kind of, I would say 15 to 20 minutes a day for the daytimes during that week. The group coaching is an hour every fortnight, and the one-to-one with me is half hour once a month. There's then the strengths assessment, which is another half hour, and some time online doing the assessment. So the kind of blocked in bits, the coaching is an hour and there's 2.5 hours in the month, and then the modules are about 10 to 15 minutes a day. You can often what people do is they'll do an hour on a Tuesday and then an hour on a Friday. They'll fit it in around them. But yeah, it's very flexible. It's built for working people, working parents, people with a lot of responsibilities. Gillian says, can you post the link again, please, Nadine? Is it a one-off payment? It is a one-off payment, Alexis, that's right. Nadine is going to post. There you go. There it's there. It is there again. I will also put it into the group. I will put it below this. I'm going to close there and let you get on with your days. I am so grateful to so many of you for having stayed for this hour, for having really been a part of an extraordinary experience for me. This is my mission, helping people to live their best lives, their biggest, their fullest, their most extraordinary lives is my mission in life. And I am so grateful for all of you for joining me today. I really hope, I really hope that I will work with lots and lots of you going forward. There is so much potential I can see so much potential amongst you. I can see so much that we can do together that I hope we get to work together soon. If you have questions, book those one-to-one calls. The link for that is at the bottom of that page. I hope that's been useful. I will really look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.